Hello, and welcome to the Tangles and Toons channel. Today we're going to look at another geometric or linear type tangle pattern, and we're going to fill our entire tile with that single pattern to create some neat effects and meta patterns, and we're going to also add a little contrast of color. So you'll need a tile or a piece of paper, pencil, a micron or similar type technical pen, and a red pen. So we'll get started with our pencil. And in my traditional fashion, following that basic Zentangle pattern and method, we're going to create some four-corner dots, and then I'm going to connect those dots lightly with a pencil line just to help frame our project and our drawing area. Of course, we could fill the entire tile in this case, and I've actually done this pattern in that way, and it works out quite nicely, but I thought for today's drawing we would just separate that tile with a little border around it as we draw. So now we can go to our black pen, and we're going to create some straight lines throughout this drawing area. Now they don't have to be in a particular format, but we want to make some horizontal and some vertical and maybe even some diagonal lines. I'm just sort of zigzagging across that drawing area there with my horizontal lines, and I'm going to do something similar with my vertical lines, or depending on the orientation, of course. Just creating some different lines there, and then I'm going to also draw some random ones that will just zigzag throughout this and maybe break up some of these larger areas in my tile, as you'll see here in a moment why that might be useful. And let's see, maybe we could do one more that cuts across right like this. All right, so now that we've created a random pattern of zigzagging and crisscrossing lines in our drawing area, we're going to do something very simple. We're going to pick each piece and simply create an aura within that piece. We're going to try, wherever the space or the size allows us to, we want to create two auras, and then we'll do one additional thing, and I'll show you that process right here. So we're going to pick a side of the shape to start on. So I'm going to pick this side. So we're going to go here and create a very simple aura pattern that just follows the shape of this line. We're going to do that twice. And then with the remaining space, we're going to actually we'll do the same sort of aura process, but we're going to connect that piece so that we get a completed pattern in that one area. So let's try that again. Let's look at this one. Right next to it, I'm rotating my tile to make it a little bit easier, and I'm just going to come up here. And this is the line that I started on, so that's the line that we're going to use as our basis point there. And I'm just drawing as straight as I can, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And we're just creating these aura lines. And one of the goals of this pattern that helps it look like it does is to try to use a uniform amount of space throughout your tile pattern here. So now we're going to do that last one after our two auras. This one will connect and create a final piece. And we're going to repeat this process throughout the entire tile here with all of the areas that we've created. So let's continue doing that. Now here, if we run up against our border area, I'm going to treat that as though it is a line. We're going to potentially do something different with that as we get toward the end. But for right now, I'm going to just treat it like another line that's been drawn there. So we have our two patterns. So now again, we do another aura, but in this case, we close the aura. So we're creating these little mini patterns within these spaces. That's why we don't close each aura. Just that's one of the unique things about this particular pattern, which, by the way, I've not told you the name of it yet. It's called Tweak. Tweak. Here, I'll write that on the back. It's Tweak. And it is by Jackie Bull. Had to double check that that was correct. That's the tile or the tangle pattern that we're using. And we're just using it in its most basic form. So there can be, of course, as almost all patterns, allow some kind of interesting modifications or tangulations. But here now I wanted to show you when we have a smaller area, we're not going to be able to complete our full repetition of those patterns. So what I've done is I've just done one and then that inner piece. And you might have one as here that's too small even for that. So we could just fill that in. Perhaps we could just put our center pattern right in there like that. That's very, very tiny, as you can perhaps tell on your screen there. But it does not always have to be the perfect similitude of that pattern if it's not going to fit. So here again, I just did one aura. All right. Now our red use, I had an idea for that, to pick one of these areas and do the same exact pattern, but to use our red marker. So I'm going to pause just for a moment before I fill in all these pieces, and I'm going to choose one. And I think what I'll do is this one right here. So we'll do the exact same idea, just using a red pen in this case. And this will add just a hint of color to our overall composition that might make it more or perhaps less interesting. It depends on your personal preferences, of course. But one thing that we haven't done yet with this pattern, because I just always save it for the final step, is that the center, the completed or enclosed aura that we create, that one gets inked. So we're going to fill all those inner spaces with black ink, but in this case it becomes red, just so that I can follow that little idea that I had, which may or may not turn out to be fun, but we'll soon find out. So now we'll go back to the black one, and I'm going to continue that process. So I'm going to start here. I like to vary the direction of the starting point, only because what I mean by that is I could have used this same line to start this pattern on, but it would have looked like a continuation perhaps, and so I didn't want to do that. I wanted to use a different starting base to help this pattern look a little bit more interesting. I'll fill in one or two of these here at the moment just with my little 01 pen, just so you can kind of see what we're talking about when we complete this inner closed aura. So we're just inking it like that. And I could do that with these itty bitty tiny ones here as well. Just like that. But now we'll continue on. Well, I'm going to come back on mine and choose to ink those areas with a little bit larger nib pen. I think just to make it a little bit easier for myself. And a little less time consuming that way. But we just get to draw these auras repeatedly. It's a really fun pattern for that Zen flow that people talk about, where you just get into the zone and you're drawing the same pattern over and over again, or at least the same kind of pattern, the same kind of lines, and it allows your mind to just focus on that and not to become bogged down with other thoughts or what part of the drawing you're going to do next. It's just a very simple, ongoing, repetitive process. Now, some people might find that annoying, but that, of course, is one of the appeals of pattern drawing for many people, is that it does allow this almost no thought repetition in your drawing. You don't have to understand all kinds of drawing techniques to be able to pull these kinds of repetitive processes off. Boy, I ended up with lots of itty bitty tiny ones here that I didn't really think about as I was drawing it, but that's all right. It just adds some little variances, little details here and there that surprise us perhaps. And remember, I used this line here to start this one, so I'm going to use a different line to work with this shape. It just helps create variance in our drawing and in the patterns that we're creating. Now this one, in order to get that in there, I made my inner aura quite a bit narrower than the rest of it, so that also can create some variety and variances in your pattern if you'd like. Or you can go for that very, very strict sense of the same spacing to create yours. And as you can see, I'm filling in some of these as I go if they're very small, but you can wait till the end like I do typically, or you can do each one as you go. No right or wrong, it's just a matter of drawing these patterns until your tile is completed. It's very simple. And of course the fact that I chose to do two auras and then do the enclosed aura, there's no right or wrong to that. If your square or your piece of paper is sized differently and you want to make 3 or 4 auras before you do the enclosed aura, that's completely fine. There's no right or wrong to this. It's just a matter of how you want your drawing to appear and what sort of pattern you're hoping to repeat. Very simple. It's not a competition. It's not a set of rules that you need to be concerned with, that if you do 3 instead of 2, that somehow there's repercussions for that. There are none. It's just having fun with some pattern drawing. If you remember, I've said it many times here, other teachers in the Zentangle world will repeat it often. It's a core component of the Zentangle method that there are no mistakes. And lots of other artists practice their art in a similar way, not worrying about mistakes, not getting concerned or burdened by that, but it's been formalized in this methodology. It's actually part of the explicit method. It's just we don't worry about little mistakes. They don't send us back to the drawing board. They don't make us give up and throw away our tile. We just keep on trucking. Now, it's true if you're perhaps doing a project on commission for a client or a customer, or maybe you're making a gift and you're frustrated with that imperfect line that you drew. Well, I understand. That might cause you to start that project over or to redo that tile. But you might also carry that one out to its very end just to see what happens, because maybe that little so-called mistake, maybe that becomes, as Bob Ross used to say, a happy little accident, and maybe it becomes the very thing that makes that tile or that piece of art or that pattern that you've been working with, maybe that's the very thing that will set it apart and make it look unique in a way that you hadn't planned. So I've got all of those patterns laid out, so I'm going to grab a little bit heavier nib here. This happens to be a 10, not an 01. This will give me a little more, it's a little larger nib, so it just makes the inking process on larger areas a little bit quicker. But it does add because of that larger nib, the precision can be a little trickier as you get toward those edges and you want to create a certain line. Just have to be aware of that and move slowly as needed, but it does help to lay down a little more ink more quickly for these larger areas. So let's finish that. This pattern can be shaded a couple different ways. The generic or standard method is to use shading along the edge where the open auras are. So in this particular piece, I would shade here. On this one, this becomes, both of those areas become the shaded area. This one, because the open side is here, you would fill there. This one you would fill or shade here, and so on. That's probably the most common, but you can also embellish that shading process by wherever you have a line that you want to enhance or to create some depth or layering, then you shade that line. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to shade all around this red piece. I'm going to use that traditional shading, as I said, where I go on this open side where the auras began and ended, but I'm also going to shade these other sides because I want that piece, that red piece, to stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to help it stand out with some shading around it. Now let's create kind of the rest of the tile with that traditional sense. So again, I'm finding that side where the auras began and ended initially, and that's where I'm adding that bit of graphite. And as I often do, as we always do in Zentangle, I'm shading just by adding that bead, which I will then be able to blend with the tortillon or the paper stump. Hopefully you can see the pattern of the shading that I was mentioning to you, though, so that it makes sense. I think, given that pattern, I believe I've got all of them now with the graphite. So that means we can go right to our tortillon and start to blend this. And so I like to do this one where I blend it not only just in general blending it, but I like to also blend it up into those auras a little ways. That helps to accentuate that that's the over and under idea that we're shooting for with the three dimensionalities. And I'm going to make our black frame all the way where that original pencil line was. Just to add that outer edge, sort of a dividing line from our drawing and the piece of paper that frames it. And so I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at the Tangle Tweak and just having a little chat here while we draw together. And I thank you as always for joining me here in the Tangles and Toons channel, and I look forward to seeing all of you again real soon. Until then, take care. Bye-bye now.